So the next two experiments that we are going to see are one is related to a corner reflector and the other is an experiment in interferometry. So this is a simple corner reflector antenna. So a corner reflector is formed by two reflective surfaces, conductive surfaces. Uh, and you can see the top view here. This is the front view. And the red line that you see uh, is actually the antenna which is radiating. But because of the reflector, the radiation pattern of this antenna changes, and uh, of course you will get more radiation towards this direction and less radiation in other directions. So in this experiment, what you are going to do is prepare this kind of a corner reflector with some aluminum foils or some metallic plates which can be stuck onto some cardboard plates or even a notebook, and you can place your mobile phone in front of this corner and see the radiation uh, difference in radiation with the corner and without the corner, and also see in which direction you get more radiation. So this is also sort of a continuation of one previous experiment where we had one single plate behind the mobile phone. Here now you have two plates, and this is one variation of that experiment, and you can see what effect that creates on the radiation. You can check in which direction you get the maximum radiation, and later on you can actually uh, modify the corner and put a third plate uh, below below these two plates, and this will form a three-sided corner. And as you can see in this image, there is a mobile phone kept here at a particular distance. You will have to experiment with this distance where to keep the mobile phone with respect to the corner. That depends on where the antenna is located in your device. So you can move around, move this mobile phone around and check when you get the best reception in your receiving device. And then, of course, this here it is kept on a ground. You can keep it on an elevated platform like a chair or table. And in this case, you will also have to find out in which direction you get the maximum radiation because of the introduction of the third plate. So you can see this as a continuation of the previous experiment where we are incrementing the number of reflectors uh, behind your mobile phone and see the radiation characteristics of such a reflector. So that is one experiment. Uh, Again, the instructions are same. You need a measuring tape to measure the distances. Uh,
It has to be kept above, right? Well above. It shouldn't be on the ground.
right, right.
It
Yeah.
might it might be useful to clarify that.
Yes, yes. So
Vibration.
yeah, I mentioned that. So it is advisable to keep this setup on a chair so that the ground does not affect your measurements. And yeah, also, uh, yeah, so all the instructions that we had for previous experiments, like uh, keeping connecting to a hotspot, creating a hotspot on your mobile phone. So most of the people said last time that when you create a hotspot and you are not, or you if you put your mobile phone in flight mode, you are not able to create a hotspot. So you can either disconnect from your data. So the idea is that you should not be receiving packets from the internet because that creates problem with the measurement. Or some people suggested that you can either switch off your SIM card in the settings, or you can just remove the SIM card. And then create a hotspot and see the do the experiment. So this is the first experiment. Let's see if anybody has any questions related to the first experiment.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
do you have any, you want to say anything about the angle in the corner reflector?
So they can start with a 90-degree angle, and they can also vary the angle and see how that affects the radiation pattern. But looking at the size of the mobile phone, they may not have too much freedom with the angle.
Yeah, one comment I have, which is while we are on this topic, that with the reflectors around and the reflections combining with the direct path, you will find that the directivity is changed significantly. And one way of analyzing it in your mind of the effect is to imagine a reflection of the radiator about the reflector. So imagine that you had only single reflector behind. You can imagine another radiator which is placed similar distance behind the reflecting surface, and a combination of the two is what is going to lead to the final pattern, directivity, increase in power, and everything else that goes with it. So similarly here, you might want to imagine the reflections of these. So in the corner reflector, you would have 3 images, right? Much like if you had a mirror, the kind of images you would see. And so this is no different. These are actually mirrors at radio wavelengths. And so you should see a combined effect of those. Only thing in doing so, so you would take those as radiators in phase with this. In addition, after accounting for the extra difference of pi due to the reflection. And then you can combine the effect of the 4 radiators, okay? And what that would give you in terms of directivity and so on. So it can be formally analyzed, even analytically, using that framework. Now, as a corollary, you will find you will have enhancement of the emission in the corner reflector in a plane sort of halfway between the 2 plates, symmetrically placed plates. So at 45 degrees from the plates. And that's where the emission will be enhanced, which will contain the common line between the 2 surfaces. Here, you can imagine that with the 3 reflectors, your boosting might take place along an axis which is inclined with respect to all the 3 surfaces equally. And while putting it on at a location, higher up, unless you orient your reflector properly, you might find that the peak is actually occurring in a direction that is not accessible to you unless you're very tall. So you can adjust your orientation of these corner reflectors accordingly. I might also add that the first 2 versions of the one that you heard before in the previous session of reflector at the back is a common usage in antennas that we use, particularly the ones that are looking up. We put the reflector below. An example of a corner reflector is readily found in UTI telescope, where the line feed, a set of dipoles along the line, are covered on the top with a corner reflector. This is to enhance its response towards the dish surface, reflector surface, rather than looking at the sky, and also to confine the directionality to within the reflecting surface. So, which means that you, after putting this corner reflector, you should go around in angle at the same, keeping the distance same, and measure the power. And you might land up measuring the response, directionality response of this arrangement in the process. And you might want to plot that as a function of angle, at least roughly, and get a measure of how much that is and how does that vary with respect to the angle of. So this is exactly like mirrors, and you keeping something in front of it with mirrors with some angle, and you can actually count the number of images it would make, and so on and so forth. You can see that the enhancement you get is as if it's a result of combined effect of all these images along with the original piece in the front. You have to take care of the phase shifts and phase differences, not just due to the locations, owing to the locations of the images, but also due to additional pi phase shift that they would have because of the reflection. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So like, how does this compare with our, the plane back reflector that we had in the last experiment? Like, seems like for like an angle of 180 degree, basically that plane, plane reflector is just a special case of this corner reflector. So is there a relation between these two, or?
Yes, there is. And exactly as you said, the plane reflector is a special case of this, right? So you will find, in that case, you will find only one image, right?
Right.
So one image and the original. Now it's as if having two radiators, okay, with some phase relationship, radiating in all directions, and the combined effect of it will enhance in certain direction and will weaken the signal in some other directions.
Sir, also like I was thinking about like interpretation of these devices. So basically these are for amplifying our signal from this receiver. Sorry, the radiator, this transmitter that we have.
Well, it's amplifying at the cost of reducing in some other directions.
Right.
So the total power radiated by the device is same. It just directed in different directions, okay, preferentially. And it has to come at the expense of reduction of power in some other directions.
So isn't this kind of like a reverse radio dish? So for example, I think of this as like, if I keep this radiator at like the foci of a parabola, and then this the dish that I have is basically this.
That's exactly what you have at UT. Yes.
Right. So that's basically an inverted radio dish, right? For like maximizing.
Yeah, I mean, depending on which way you use the enhanced response, whether you use it to collect radiation that is reflected from a primary reflector, shaped reflector, or you let it look up where the response is directly looking at the sky. And in any case, there is a certain reciprocity here, okay? What you see in radiation is same as the characteristics will be similar to what you would have in the reception. If you were to use this as a receiving antenna also, it will have the same relevant characteristics.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, this is sort of a modification of the previous experiment. So you have to actually determine the difference that you see when you have just a plain reflector, and then you put a corner like this, and then you add a third reflector, and then you have to see what amount of boosting or gain in signal you get. So that is one of the goals of the experiment. And also, as Desh mentioned, if you can move around this setup and measure the received power and the angle, then you can actually plot this response of this antenna. So how it radiates and in which direction you get more radiation, in which direction you get less radiation. So that basically forms the response of the antenna.
Okay, thank you.
As if we use parabolic kind of reflector, then the distance between reflector and antenna will be constant, irrespective of whichever point you take as a reference. So won't it be better to use those kind of reflectors?
No, I think maybe you're confusing between spherical reflector, right? That's where the distance will be constant.
Yeah,
But I know what you're referring to. You're referring to the radiator being put at the focus of a parabolic reflector, right?
Yes, yeah.
In which case, yes, you will find that you eliminate the reflector, okay, with this radiation in such a way that in the plane containing the rim of the parabolic reflector, okay, will be having equal phase. It would have traveled the same distance to the plane containing the rim, okay, from the focus. And that's the property of parabola.
Yes, so it will be kind of better than using this kind of reflectors, right?
Yeah, these are easily made. Making a good parabolic reflector, unless you have readily have access to a dish, okay, which you might have. We just wanted to keep it simple so that people can experiment with things that are readily available with them. But you are absolutely right. This is what one uses. One doesn't use this kind of a reflector to as an antenna generally. If one has so much surface available, one might even make it a paraboloid and put the radiator at the focus or receptor at the focus. And that is the traditional paraboloid dish configuration, which people routinely use. Except you will find that that will also make now the radiator size will be the reflector size. And you will have to take into account the near field, far field considerations explicitly, right? Even here you might need to make, but this will still be a compact configuration, okay, of radiators and images of it.
Yeah, so I hope everyone has some access to some aluminum foil so that they can prepare these kinds of sheets with either your notebooks or some cardboard sheets. So this is just aluminum foil stuck onto a cardboard sheet, and we prepared a corner. And you can use some, here it is a thermocol on which this mobile phone is kept. So you can cut the thermocol and change the distance between the reflectors and the mobile phone.
Yeah. If I were to do it, I will be concerned about lack of knowledge of where exactly the antenna of this mobile phone is.
Yes.
In terms of radiator. And I'm sure some of you would also have this concern. And one way of finding that out is to go back to the second experiment that was described before this session, where you had the lambda by 4 distance to be the optimum, right? Now you can mark that spot and bring different parts of the mobile phone at that location, okay? And the one where you get maximum signal is the one which will sort of help you locate the area where the antenna, radiating antenna might be situated within that plane of your phone.
Yeah, so you can try different orientations of the mobile phone to figure out, in case you don't know the location of the antenna in the mobile phone, you can try different orientations of the mobile phone and see in which orientation and at what distance you get the maximum power. And that should correspond to the location of the antenna.
So it will be nice that each one of you figure out where in your mobile set the antenna is located without somebody telling you, like the manufacturer telling you. See if you can figure that out.
One more thing we need to take an account while performing this experiment. So whenever you're connecting to a plain like cardboard and you stick aluminum foil on it, so make sure that there should not be much gap. Okay, so at the connection where they both corner are connected. So maybe, for example, here you can see it's completely filled and it's covered with aluminum foil properly here.
Yes, at the corner here. Yeah, that's what you are saying, right?
Yeah, this one.
Yeah. Yeah, so the corner should be connected.
Well connected, and it will be good if they are covered with aluminum foil.
Well, they should be electrically connected. Okay.
Yes.
Because if there were to be gaps, don't be surprised that the gap with metal around it will also act as a radiator in its own right. These are called slot antennas.
Sir, aluminum is necessary, or plastic sheet would work with this?
Pardon?
If you're using plastic,
would plastic sheet
won't work. You have to cover with aluminum foil. You need a metal.
It has to be a mirror at radio frequencies, okay, and a reasonably smooth mirror, and the smoothness, as long as it's smoother than lambda by 20, okay, it's okay. Small wrinkles here and there will not matter too much.
Okay, so but metal isn't necessary, right? Then
pardon?
Like we need only reflection. Like
yeah, we need
only reflection. So.
Okay, plastic may not reflect very well.
Okay,
it might reflect only partly. Partly it will be absorbed. Right?
Okay.
Sir, copper clad is fine, right?
Copper what?
Copper plate is also.
Yeah, copper plate is fine. Even steel plate is fine. Okay.
Any metal.
Any metallic.
Yeah, and the thinness, why the foil works while you don't require a thick plate, is the amount of metal that is in that is participating in this process of reflection is only what is called a skin depth thick. Okay, a few times the skin depth, and you can actually look up material, things about skin depth, and of course they are frequency dependent and all that. So you can figure out at the frequencies of relevance what should be the minimum thickness required for the metal, whatever surface, whatever covering that you put like a foil.
Sir, if we use the aluminum foil and we don't use the cardboard covering behind it.
That's okay. Cardboard is just for support. Just for some time.
So wouldn't it was like a
foil in place, it's good enough.
No, sir, I meant that can there be an issue of transmission instead of like reflection? That is why we put a cardboard behind it.
No, cardboard is not playing any important role in interaction with the electromagnetic wave. It's just acting as some dielectric material. Okay, might have some amount of absorption. That's about it.
So there can be transmission through the aluminum foil as well?
No, it won't be. There won't be if it's thicker than few times the skin depth.
I think the skin depth for aluminum is roughly 1 micron meter. So,
right.
Yeah, so I don't think that's going to be much of a problem.
Correct. And I think the foils are much thicker than that.
Yeah, right.
The 3-corner reflector, if you find it too difficult to make or have difficulties, you might even use a cavity-like thing, which is one burtan, one pot from your kitchen, if you can steal. Except you need to keep this roughly at the symmetric point.
And so what is the role here the thermocol bases are playing over here? They're simply used to hold the mobile phone, or what is their purpose actually here?
Yeah, it's just to raise the phone. It could have been something else. It could have been even a cloth. Can I add something here while we are on this topic? Nobody has raised this question, but people might face this issue or might have concerns quite independently, is something about the polarization. The radiator might have some specific polarization, or your receptor might have some specific polarization. Normally, they are not expected to have strong polarized characteristics in terms of picking particular linear polarization or something. They would rather be more circular polarizations, so that so the issue is like having two polarites, right? And how the relative orientation of their optical axis will change the way you get the reception or filtering from one. How does it what fraction of it is received by the other? So be mindful about the possibility that some devices might have some more linear polarization, okay, than being circular. They are certainly 100% polarized. That much can be told, okay. So you might want to, the orientation aspect that Ashish was mentioning would also be changing that aspect about the way polarization, plane of polarization is oriented, if at all it has any linear.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Will the when calculating the maxima and minima of this, the traditional interference and diffraction formulas will they come into play when calculating the maxima and minima for this?
You can look at it that way as well, right?
Yes, sir.
After all, in the simplest possible case, right?
Yes, sir.
The reflection from the mirror from all parts of the surface. For a very preliminary investigation, you can take only specific rays, right?
Yes, sir.
And work out the primary expectation, okay, from these.
Yes, sir.
So for that, as I suggested, you might think of with this mirror arrangement, the images, the locations of the images, and imagine radiators there. While doing so, of course, you need to be very sure of having accounted for the extra phase difference
yes,
due to reflection, in addition to the extra path lengths that things would travel.
Okay, thank you, sir.